Hey dolls! Welcome back to another video. Now today, Shannon and I are going to be sharing top 5 favorite Barbie movie characters. Now obviously this does not include Barbie as a character, even though she does play herself in some movies. And it also doesn't include any side characters because that would make this video way too hard to narrow it down. But we are sharing with you our top 5 Barbie movie characters. So my fifth favourite Barbie character is Corinne. Now, it's really hard to narrow it down to just 5, and to place them in an order too. I'm not even 100% sure if this is my order, but I have done my best. I just keep changing it because I love the 5 girls that I've picked so much, and there's so much special about each of them, but for now, Corinne is the 5th favourite one. There is so much that I've always adored about Corinne. I really want to do a cosplay of her. I really want her doll. There's so much that I adore about the Musketeers movie in general. You know, the Musketeers movie, I absolutely love the themes of friendship, the themes of female empowerment in it. I love the also the dream chasing aspect of it and never giving up on your dreams. That's pretty much not just the themes of the movie, but the themes of Corinne, the themes that are inside of her, the things she's passionate about. And that's why I love her so much. That's why she's in my top 5. I see her as a powerful, inspiring woman, one that never wanted to give up, that was always determined and wanted to fulfill her dreams. And I mean, that's Barbie in general, but Corinne just really embodied that so much because she spent the whole movie pursuing a dream that everyone else thought was impossible, that she couldn't do, but she never gave up. I so much need that inspiration in my life. Knowing that no matter what I go for, no matter what I do, even when it seems like no one else is believing in me or it's not going to come true, that I have to keep believing in it. And I have a role model like Corinne to look up to.
Hi dolls! Now, yes, this list was definitely very hard to make, and I'm also not quite sure about the order of my top 5 that I've chosen, except for my first, so the others might change around a little bit, but I think I'm pretty satisfied with the 5 that I have chosen. Blair, aka Princess Sophia. There has always been something about Princess Charm School that I've always really loved. And I guess a big part of that would be the main character, Blair. I think, and I'm sure I'm not the only one, that I connected to this character on some level from the outset of this movie because she's a regular girl, just like those of us who watch Barbie movies, right? She's not a princess or anything, well, for most of the movie anyway. But I mean, she works a regular job, she comes from a regular neighborhood, and so she's pretty much just a regular girl from the outset of the movie, which I think instantly makes us all connect with her. However, as we come to find throughout the movie, Blair is far from average. And I'm not talking about the fact that she's really a princess. I'm really talking about the qualities that she possesses. She's a hard worker, she's humble and kind and loving. She has a strong sense of justice and she will stand up for those who can't stand up for themselves. There is nothing average or common about these qualities. Blair has the heart and the spirit of a true princess, although we know that she also struggles with self-confidence and believing in herself. I think we've all dealt with that at some point, and I know that I can really relate to Blair and her inner struggles. However, I love the way that she's able to work through it all and overcome everything so beautifully. I think that Blair really embodies the song, the Hannah Montana song Ordinary Girl, which I love, by the way. She lives the life of an ordinary girl and she doesn't think that she's very special, but eventually she finds the courage to believe that special things can happen to her and that she can do special and great things. She shows a lot of bravery by sticking it out at Princess Charm School, even when things aren't really going so well for her. She shows great perseverance as she continues to try to make a better life for her and for those that she cares about the most. I think that in this way, Blair really shows what a true princess is really like. That it doesn't matter where you come from or what you look like or anything like that. She shows that it's the heart that matters, and the heart of a girl that really makes her a princess or not. That's what I really love about Blair.
My number 4 favourite character. I was actually going to show the dolls with each of them, but I don't have a Korean, but I do have an Erica. I never actually think I shared getting Erica, but I got her from Shannon as a birthday present a couple months ago. So yes, my number 4 favourite character is Erica. And I mean, we can all agree that we absolutely all adore Princess and the Pauper. For many people, it's their favourite Barbie movie. I also love Erica's determination when she dreams. You know, she had a very big dream that also seemed very impossible. I guess something I really love about the characters I picked is they're dreamers that never want to give up. They have a lot of hope instilled in them, and I think that's a general kind of theme across Barbie characters. But, you know, Erica had that dream. She wanted to share her voice with the world. She wanted to sing, but she was stuck paying back her parents' debt. And I love that too. I love how she has that sense of responsibility, because I definitely can relate to that. I always put my sense of responsibility and things I need to do for others. A lot of the time I put that first before myself, so I feel like I can definitely relate to Erica with that. And then I love how much that she did for Annalise. You know, she like very nearly risked her life to try to bring her back safely. And of course, Shannon and I love any set of best friends, because we are best friends ourselves. And I have to be honest, another really big reason why I love her is because I love her relationship with her cat, Wolfie. And I actually have a cat myself. This is my Wolfie, Oreo. And so I guess that I really love. So, you know, I also love her relationship with her pet. And The Cat's Meow is one of my favourite songs. And so I think I just love, you know, Erica. I love her pet, her relationship with her animals, her sense of duty and responsibility. And yeah, I guess that's why she's in my top 4.
My number 4, at least for now, as I mentioned, the order might change, but I have chosen Mariposa. Unfortunately, I still don't have a doll of her, which is quite strange since I have always loved Mariposa as a character and as the whole movie. So yeah, I really hope I can get a doll of her soon. Mariposa definitely has a lot in common with the others that I'm going to be choosing for my favourites, so you'll be able to see a reoccurring theme here in why I've chosen them as my favourites, because these girls, these characters that Barbie plays are so much like me, and I find that Mariposa is definitely one of the ones that I relate to the most. Like myself and pretty much the rest of my other favourite characters in this list, Mariposa is an escapist who loves to read. With her, I find that I really relate to her shyness and also especially the amount of time that she spends alone. She has always felt different, and she deals a lot with the fear that she will never be good enough for anyone and that she will never truly belong somewhere. I think that her struggle with that really struck a deep chord within me, and still resonates really deep with me to this day, especially these days, in fact. And I really love her journey. I love watching her deal with that inner struggle that I relate to quite a lot, and seeing her constantly push back the dark and fight against those inner demons, and eventually she wins. She's a character like so many other Barbie characters, I suppose, that displays a lot of courage. Enough to say, no, you know what, I am worth something. I'm always really moved by the moment where Mariposa discovers that inner self-worth and realizes all that she has to give. When she is able to realize that just because you're by yourself doesn't mean that your life is meaningless. Her story always helps remind me that I do have a place, and even if that takes a while to find, even now my life still has its purpose. And that's why I love Mariposa, because I relate to her and I'm also inspired by her, and her story always really moves me and touches me deeply.
My number 3 favorite character is the lovely Eden Starling. Which, I mean, you know, for most of her movie, she was a pretty horrible character. And it's not until the very end, like, what, the last 5-10 minutes, where she actually becomes good. And so it may be surprising to put her in there since we don't actually get to see a lot of her good character. I mean, first, something I love about Eden is I think she's absolutely stunning. You know, I absolutely love her look. It's, you know, a little bit different. I love her curly hair. I love, you know, well, she's obviously, well, she's from the Victorian era, so I love her style, I love her look. And even though we don't see much of her, I think even in her evilness, there is some good qualities that she has to her. Obviously, I don't want to be selfish, but you know, on that, I do think a little bit of selfishness sometimes is good. You know, I talked about how I loved Erica for her sense of duty and responsibility, but also it's okay to be selfish sometimes and to put yourself first. So I feel like between the two characters, I can get a good balance of that inspiration. But I really love how she gives the message that it's never too late to turn your life around. It really becomes inspiration. You know, she shows it's never too late to heal those friendships and heal the things, because even like connecting with Catherine's family, you know, she hadn't been to their house in so long for Christmas, but she showed that it was never too late to heal those family friendships, the friendships with her co-workers, and never too late to make things right. I think a lot of us can get stubborn and can give up and think like it's too late to fix those things, but I think she inspires that. It's never too late. She also inspires it's okay to be a little selfish sometimes. Not all the time though, don't let her go crazy. It's never too late to change who you are as a person. You know, we're not born good or bad, we choose to be that. And, you know, she chose to turn good. She chose to be a good, caring, charitable person. And I hope to take some of that inspiration as well. It's very easy to choose the bad side over the good. It's very easy to get impatient, frustrated, angry, annoyed, but Eden is a reminder to choose the good side of me. And I guess that's why she's my 3rd favorite character.
Princess Alexa. If I was a Barbie character, I would probably be her. She is once again a character that loves to read, and I'm drawn to those characters all the time because I really do love to read. I have since I was very young. Alexa is also very introverted and a little unsure of herself, and the real world around her tends to somewhat bore her and also somewhat frighten her. She would much rather stay with her books all day and live and imagine in her own fantasy world. She dreams that she can be as strong as the heroines in her books and that she can have a story like theirs. And now I feel like I'm describing myself as I'm describing Alexa, because that is exactly me, and it has become more me as I've gotten older too. However, on her journey, Alexa ends up learning confidence and bravery. She is able to discover strengths and abilities within herself that she didn't know she had. Even though she was afraid, she decided that she would take a stand and use her voice and her abilities to do the right thing. This ends up making her a hero, just like all those that she reads about in her books. That's why I love her, because she reminds me that I too can also do more than I think that I can. That the power is always there inside. I just have to dig deep enough and find the courage to try and be brave enough to take those steps that I need to and live my own story. I also really love her yellow dress that she wears at the start of the movie. It's my favourite dress ever in Barbie actually, and it's definitely something that I would wear. So yeah, I also love her style.
For my number 2 favourite character, it is the lovely Clara. Another girl from a Christmas movie and with curly hair as well. I mean, isn't Clara just the most gorgeous character out of every single Barbie movie? She really is so beautiful. So she inspires me to make myself more beautiful. But there is so much beautiful inside about Clara as well as outside. She has such a beautiful heart. You know, the locket she was wearing was a golden heart. Honestly, she has that golden heart inside of her. She is someone that was willing to look deeper beneath the surface of someone and give them another chance and to love them unconditionally. I think, you know, the love that her and the Nutcracker shared was very, very beautiful. So I think she definitely inspires me to love deeper than the surface of someone, to look beyond their flaws and what they've done, to giving them another chance. So she definitely inspires a good kind of love. And I think she just inspires so much caring and compassion, which she showed to everyone she came across. Yes, I get inspired to have that same golden heart as Clara from her, which is why she's in my number 2 favourite characters. To be as beautiful inside as outside like she is. To be given that chance to be loving deeply and to be caring. And to have an open heart as well, and to be as kind, brave and clever as her as well.
Odette. Now, I don't think I like Odette that much more than Alexa, but I had to put her one above since Swan Lake is, after all, my favourite Barbie movie, and I couldn't not include her in this. I think I was leaning toward Rapunzel as well, who was an honourable mention, but I had to put Odette in there. She is another character who really lives in her own little world, just like the majority of my other favourite characters and myself. She loves to dance, and so do I. And I think it's safe to say that Odette does have big dreams, but she craves that security and the surety of the familiar and what she knows. And she's very shy. She's also quite timid and doubts her own capabilities quite a lot. All of which are reasons why she would seldom venture out from all that she knows and all that is common to her. And I cannot say how strongly I relate to all of that. I've been that way myself all my life pretty much. Odette is an obvious comfort zone dweller, and so am I. However, just like Alexa, Odette decided that she would still do the right thing and she would be there for the people who needed her help, even when she didn't think that she could really do much to help. She didn't think she was being a hero. She didn't think she was even being brave. She was afraid the whole time, but she did it anyway. And that's what I really love about her. She reminds me that I can still do things even when I'm scared, and I don't necessarily have to feel that courage within me. That I can be afraid and still take that first step. And that's really what courage is anyway. The truth is that being afraid is the only way that you can be brave, and that's what Odette always reminds me of. When Odette decided to take that step anyway, she discovered that the courage and strength was in her all along. She was able to see what she was truly made of, and that changed her whole life. She was also able to help others because of it. As someone who has always been rather afraid and loves my comfort zone a lot, I find that I really relate to Odette, and I also really aspire to be like her. I often remember her and her story when I need to find some courage.
And my number one favourite character, who I actually have a doll of, but not with me. But you have seen her on my channel before. We have an unboxing of her. She is Annika from Magic of Pegasus. I mean, there is so much that I love about that movie. Of course, she's my number one favourite character. Annika, of course, is an embodiment of hope and never giving up as well. A similar theme with my other characters. But I mean, so much more. I mean, her whole movie about is hope, and so much lately I've been looking for hope in my life. You know, I've definitely felt like I've lost a lot of direction in my life this year, but Annika really inspires me to hold on to hope, and that there is always hope. You know, and there's hope for things getting better, hope for things changing, and hope that I'll be able to find that purpose and dream again. And you know, Annika faced some really dark times, and she wasn't sure if she'd see her parents again, if she'd see her kingdom again, if she'd just be stuck in this awful marriage or just stuck as a slave to Wenlock. Even when it seemed like it was just going to be easier to give up. Well, there was no way, but she still managed to seek that way out. I adore her love with Aiden as well, which, you know, is also another example of loving deeply someone. You know, Aiden made a big mistake with his father, but I loved that Annika was there to support him when he was coming back asking for forgiveness, and I think it teaches about that really supporting love that you can give to people. And even the open arms that she welcomed her sister with, her sister that she'd never known, but had opened her heart to and still welcomed as well. And I think there's just so many beautiful, loving characteristics in Annika that I really look up to. And so that's why she's in my number one favourite character. The beauty of her love, her support, her openness, and her ability to keep hope, even in the darkest of times. And that's why she's my number one favourite character. Well, dolls, this is my top 5. I don't think I would change who's in my top 5, but I'm not sure if the order is set in stone, but there are so many amazing, beautiful Barbie characters, and I definitely think we'll follow this up with a part 2 for our top 5 non-Barbie characters, because, you know, Katania's definitely going to be in that, if I can put her in. But, yes.
For my number one favourite, it's the same as Katie's. My favourite character of Barbie is Annika. Now, as Katie said, she does have a doll of her, just not with her. And I don't have a doll of her at all, unfortunately, but she is probably my most wanted Barbie at the moment, and I'm keeping a very keen lookout for her. But yes, both Katie and I love the Magic of Pegasus a lot. It just seems to have this extra magic to it. If you really love the Magic of Pegasus, I think you know what we mean. She has to be one of the most, or I guess the most, inspirational Barbie characters to both of us, because she is so strong and brave, which is clearly made evident in her determination to hang on to hope no matter what. Annika is very passionate. She has a strong will and that never say die kind of attitude. No matter how things are looking, she will never give up. And even if there is the tiniest ray of hope, she will find it and cling to it with everything she has. I think that this makes her one of the most admirable characters I've ever seen in any movie, and she also inspires me very much, of course. I also like to think that I'm a lot like Annika, and I deal with a lot of things, and sometimes it all just really pulls me down, and I can begin to feel almost hopeless that things will ever change for me, because when I look around at my life and I guess the world around me, that's all I can think. But I have discovered that there is a hope that lives within me, and it runs so deep, and no amount of bad circumstances or sadness seems to be able to take that away. Even on my most miserable days, I still can't find it in me to give up on my dreams and on this life in general. I have a really strong will to live, and at the end of the day, that always seems to be stronger than even the hardest heartache or the toughest problem. That's why I love Annika so much. It would truly seem that her and I have the same kind of spirit, and I always remember her when I need to be reminded of the hope that lives in me too. These days, hope is hard to come by, but it is always there for those who look for it. It's always there because hope is not an external thing. It comes from within, and so anyone who holds hope in their hearts will always be able to find it no matter what they are faced with. Annika is a prime example of this, and I also really love the courage that she shows in choosing hope, because hope certainly is a choice and it's something that you have to choose every day, and believe me, I know that this isn't easy, but you just have to find that courage within to continue to reach out and grab a hold of it every day. And when you do, you will find that hope really does have wings and it will carry you. I am reminded of all this truth when I see Annika. I don't know if there's anything that is more beautiful than hope. And so that is why I love Annika so much, and why I think she is so beautiful, because she is so full with hope. And that is our top 5 Barbie characters each. Thank you all so much for watching. We really hope you enjoyed this one. Please feel free to leave a comment and let us know your favourite role of Barbie in her movies. And yeah, we'll hopefully see you in one of our next videos. Peace!